Everyone, welcome to this episode of the Crypto Leviathan podcast. I'm your host, Dalibor. This is Andrew. So, welcome back. It's been a little bit, Andrew, right?
What day is it today? Today's Tuesday, May 3rd. When did we release the last episode? I think it was about a week ago, right?
Yeah, about a week ago.
I think between last week and the week before, there was a little bit of a delay. So we've both just been a little busy, but yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we're back on schedule now. That's all that matters.
Yes. So what are we talking about today? We're going to talk a little bit about the news. I have a scam that I saw, and we're talking a little bit about crypto credit cards.
Yeah, particularly crypto.com. They tried to pull some shenanigans.
But any other non-credit card related news first?
The Bitcoin conference in Miami apparently went really, really well. So we'll be touching on that as well.
Oh, I didn't know that passed. I thought that was in June.
Oh, it was in April. Happened 2 weeks ago, I would say. 24th.
Where was Rourke supposed to go? He was going to a conference.
I think he was going to that one.
Okay. Right. We should message him soon and see what he's up to.
Yeah, we should.
I came across this article from CNN Business, and it's about how the SEC, which is the U.S. Security Exchange Commission, so they regulate stocks and I guess related assets, and so they're having a hiring spree to fight cryptocurrency fraud. So they're hiring 20 additional positions in their cyber unit, which is also being renamed the Crypto Assets and Cyber Unit. And so what they're doing is they're doubling the size of the unit and better equipping themselves to police wrongdoing in the crypto markets while continuing to identify disclosure and control issues with respect to cybersecurity. So pretty much they're hiring people to track down people who are using I guess cryptocurrencies to, I don't know, commit various types of fraud or perhaps evade taxes or hide their assets or what have you. It says, in addition to policing cryptocurrency exchanges and coin offerings, the SEC will also be monitoring NFTs, decentralized finance platforms, and stable coins.
Well, the police have come to crypto. That's all I can say.
I wonder if the IRS, I assume the IRS has a similar unit, but I don't know much about it.
Well, all that's what's going to happen is, I think we're both aware of this, Andrew. Regulation is bound to come to crypto. It's inevitable. The government's going to try to do it. How long will it take till they're successful in it? We'll see. Crypto is a type of space where I think there will be constant innovation. So they'll always be playing catch up.
So it says here that the list of open positions include fraud analysts, trial and investigative attorneys, and supervisors. So it doesn't say anything here about cybersecurity experts.
Well, you've worked in law enforcement. So how realistically would they set up a structure to monitor this?
You need tech specialists, you need systems engineers, you need people who have extensive technical knowledge in crypto. Now, can you get these people? Maybe, but the people who are experts, like our business partner, they don't want to work for the SEC, and they could probably find better paying opportunities in the private sector for crypto companies. So
that's what I was gonna say. They can't pay enough, right, to hire these people that they need.
They'll get people who maybe have the aptitude who can pick it up, but the people who are super knowledgeable about this stuff, I just feel that, by and large, a majority of them wouldn't want to work for the SEC in this capacity. They'd rather either just do it on their own, like, do their own thing, whether it be mining or creating their own coin or platform, like Rourke, right? Or they'll go work for a company like what Rourke has, or they'll go work for crypto.com or something like that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's going to take time for this agency to actually hire these people. But I think we also know that the government will give them some sort of kickbacks for joining. Because do you think the government is perfectly squeaky clean when it comes to stuff like this? They'll probably get something in return.
What do you think? You get like a commission for all the coins you help seize?
I don't think that will happen. However, you may get some company shares options under the table to buy for really cheap. So I think stuff like that's probably going to happen. We've seen it, right? Politicians in the US, Nancy Pelosi, gets kickbacks all the time for doing favors for companies. So I think of these people, same thing. You steal some money from someone, you're gonna get kickbacks for getting it back. I
Well,
just think that it's gonna work that way.
one thing that is possible would be if they're investigating, say, an exchange, and they know that perhaps the SEC is going to file some kind of charges against the exchange, and that's going to affect their stock price, like say Coinbase, and you're part of the investigative team. Maybe they look the other way if you execute like a what do you call it, like a short option or a short position.
There you go. But like I said, there's always going to be situations like this because the government's not perfectly, anti-corrupt, and there's always corruption. So I think this is bound to happen. I mean, maybe you'll start off clean, but 5, 10 years later down the road, we'll get there. So that's my opinion on it. We're just, it's kind of like when they enforce stocks, right? They picked on Elon Musk for Tesla for very specific reasons, but other people do the exact same thing he does. They won't pick on him, right? Because he's not an interesting target. So I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. There's a scam I want to bring up, but I just want to grab the name of it. So if you want to talk about anything interesting that you came up aside from the card, we'll do that for the end.
Sure, absolutely. So I'll talk a little bit about the mining conference, crypto, actually the Bitcoin. Let me start again. The Bitcoin conference in Miami. And I was watching a short by Kevin O'Leary. And I know you're not a fan, Andrew, but Mr. Wonderful does have some good insights occasionally. And one of his insights was, because he was at this event, was there was one whole day where institutional investors and companies were there, or tons of companies came to this Bitcoin conference and they had a specific day. So what does that indicate to me? That there's a ton of institutions, mega corporations that are looking to get involved in this cryptocurrency space. And this is the first time this has happened in the crypto space. There's always been talks, small companies here and there, but a massive amount of these, big banks around the world, hedge funds, government officials, companies like Fortune 500 companies coming together to learn about crypto. I think that says something. And it's very exciting to be in this space. And if you still haven't bought into cryptocurrency, now is might be only chance, because once these big companies and banks and hedge funds sink their teeth into it, it might be too late to experience these massive returns we've seen in the past. But that's just my opinion. Don't take that as financial advice.
Well, there could still be some drops though, because I know you bought into Solana, and I almost did. I was gonna last time we talked about it. It was around 170. I want to say 170 US, and I was gonna, but then I don't know, for whatever reason I was like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow, and then it dropped down to like $100, and now it's at 88. So, I still would like to get some Solana. I think it's up.
You're muted, Andrew.
Oh, sorry.
You're gonna have to cut
I was
this
saying
part
that.
out.
Yeah, I was saying that there's still some opportunity for coins to perhaps drop further. Hard to say, because you were talking about Solana with me last time, and I was gonna buy into it at around 170, but I held off, and now it's dropped down to 88.
Yeah, prices fluctuate, right? The thing is, I bought, I'm staking it. So I'm generating an ROI. Whether it drops, I don't really care, because zoom out to always 5 years. Is Solana going to be cheaper in 5 years or more expensive than 5 years? I think we all know the answer. Is it going to stay at $80, Andrew, in 5 years? Extremely unlikely.
Well, hard to say, right? Because
Okay,
Chia started off at
let's just like take into inflation into account. They print 7% of the money supply every year. For 5 years, it's 35% more money. Assets tend to double. So are you telling me that Solana under this inflation will be cheaper? It's very unlikely, extremely, as long as this coin remains somewhat relevant. If no one starts using it, yeah, it's going to drop. But assuming all the other factors are the same, it will increase in price just from inflation. Is that a fair point?
yeah. Okay, so I was trying to log into my Polygon wallet, but saving I'm having some issues, but it's not relevant. I was gonna find the names of the scam coins. So essentially what it was, I hadn't logged into my Polygon wallet in quite a while. And what Polygon is a layer two solution for Ethereum. And so I logged in last week. I noticed that on top of the transactions that I had expected, which just from mining, it's I'm getting automatically paid out from a pool to my Polygon wallet. But there's a couple random transactions, maybe like three or four, and one or two are actually flagged as scam. I think there was like a memo section or something like that in the transaction list, and one or two said scam. But essentially, what it was somewhere between 1,000 and 300,000 random coins of of a coin I've never heard of. It might have been called like Minerium or something along those lines. And one was called like something like Roboto. And so I just looked on Reddit. So I just Googled the coin name followed by Reddit, and then there's always a couple of posts. And so what it is they send random amounts like or a large amount of these coins to random wallets, and they hope that you'll go to their website and I think log into maybe you're using your MetaMask or something to try to redeem these coins, which are worth nothing. And that's when they empty out your wallet and then they'll transfer out the coins of actual value. So say you had some Ethereum or Bitcoin or something in your MetaMask, that's when they'll rob you. So if you're seeing in your wallet transactions where it's large amounts of some random coin you never heard of, and also that you're not expecting, good chance it's a scam. I'd look into it before going any further. Just Google the name, maybe see what people are saying on Reddit or Bitcoin Talk.
That's a very good point. If you haven't bought these things, they're most likely a scam, period.
Because right, and especially if it's a coin you never heard of. But now, if it was 1,000 Ethereum that just showed up in your wallet, that's something different. But maybe double check, triple check the spelling. Could it just be some kind of like similar to like a phishing attack, right? Where they'll just name it something very similar to Ethereum and say that it's a 1,000 units, but really it's like a copycat coin. So in the Polygon wallet, if you click for more information, it'll actually show you the market cap of that coin. So just double, triple check before you log in anywhere else on any other website.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Make sure you know that all the assets you've purchased. But that's also a good business opportunity, I think, developing a piece of software that detects these fraudulent coins. So just remove them from wallets or so you don't see them in the wallet.
Well, Polygon's doing something, so some of them are flagged, the other ones aren't. But yeah, I think even the likelihood of someone accidentally transferring money to your wallet is highly improbable because of how random and long your address is.
Yeah, most people copy and paste them in, right? So the likelihood of you missing, the only thing that could happen is you cut the address short, copy the full amount. But the most likelihood of making a mistake is you have to type it in manually, which I assume no one does anymore.
Yeah, and even if they make an error, it's more likely just to go to what do you call it, like an empty wallet or like a non-existent wallet, and it's just gone forever kind of thing. So it's unlikely it'll go to you. So if it's
Yeah,
too good to be true.
Yeah, it's most likely going to be lost if you send it out like that.
Any other news? Unless we want to get into the main topic, which is Crypto.com's credit card.
Yeah, I guess we can get started. So Crypto.com basically has a Visa card I think everyone's aware of. You have to stake a certain amount of Crow. So Crow is basically Crypto.com's coin. And once you stake a certain amount, depending on which tier you are in, you get rewards. And basically what Crypto.com did is they significantly reduced the rewards, like drastically. They basically wanted to eliminate all staking rewards for most people. And people freaked out because what's the point of having this coin that I'm using that I have to tie to this Visa, but I can't stake it, doesn't generate any returns. It's basically buried money at that point. So that's where a lot of the backlash was. And there's a massive sell-off that happened. So when I was looking at it, it's been down, I would say somewhere around 40% because of the backlash in the community, because no one actually buys this coin because they want to have it. It has no value besides this Visa card. and they're taking away a lot of the benefits that people had for holding this coins. That's why there was a massive sell-off. So once that happened, they actually backtracked and actually revised the rewards and brought staking back. So they still slashed it. So it's still down to 4% instead of 8%. But I still think they're going to get what they want. What about you, Andrew? What do you think?
Let me read you out the current advertised rates
Sure.
because I don't think they're. So they have a chart on their site with what is this? 5 different cards they have. There's the
Card tiers, I think they're called.
right. So it goes Midnight Blue, which is the lowest, Ruby Steel, Royal Indigo, Frosty Rose Gold, and Obsidian. So
Yep.
those are the 5 categories, right? So I think these reward percentages are not reflective of the upcoming changes, correct? Because it says it goes in order of how I listed them: 1%, 2%, 3%, 5%, and 8% in CRO rewards. So you're saying it's going to be slashed to half of that?
These are already slashed. So these are actually revised. So if you don't stake, you get that percentage of rewards. If you stake your coin, that's how much percentage you get of Crow. Does that make sense to you? So they have already slashed them. They used to be like 4 and 8%. So they've slashed them significantly. Because the top tier used to be 8%, now it's 5, right? Or according to their chart.
I'm seeing on the top tier it says 8% still. So I wonder if I'm looking at a
It's 4% now. Maybe we're looking at a different chart.
okay. But yeah, the point is it's gone down. And what about the other rewards? Because they had other benefits, for example, reimbursement of Spotify, Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc. I think that still goes.
That's still there. They haven't changed that. I think they've also reduced some kind of. I think they put a cap on how much monthly rewards you can get, and I think it's like $25 for a certain tier and then $50 for another tier. So they basically introduced things that's made this card, I would say, not that great, personally speaking.
So CRO coins, they sound a lot like what was a coin from Axie Infinity?
Oh,
but
yeah,
right. So they're coins that have no value except that people are essentially mining it or getting from a game, or in this case, getting them as rewards or staking, and then trying to essentially cash out.
Yep.
Would you say that's the case?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any value in Binance coin?
Well, it's the same value that Crow coin has, right? You basically buy this coin to reduce your transaction fees. So they basically store your money in this. Like I said, I don't like this. I feel like it's gimmicky, like having your own coin and abusing it this way. But hey, if it works, it works. I personally don't like investing in these type of things.
Hold on one second. I gotta reconnect my internet. You keep cutting out, but I think it's my internet. 2 seconds. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I'm tethering now, so it should be more stable. Okay, so there's a couple other options out there. So you do have the Binance card. So I made a little list here. You have Binance card. However, I won't go too deep into it because I don't think it's available in Canada or the United States. It's mostly available in Europe. Very similar proposition, 8% return in Binance coin, BNB. And it looks like all the variations are all Visa debit cards. So they're, I guess, essentially the same as Visa prepaid cards. They're not credit cards in that, you pay now and then you have a statement at the end of the month. You load the card first with like fiat currency, and then you can then make purchases, or you can, I guess, convert that money into the coin that is unique to that platform. So whether it be BNB or CRO or what have you, and you can hold it in that currency until you're making a transaction, in which case it'll convert it to fiat and then you make your purchase. So I guess the benefit there compared to a debit card is that typically a debit card is connected to a checking account. Checking accounts have almost no return. So here, theoretically, you could have some appreciation. The value of the CRO or the BNB could go up, but could also go down too. So there's a bit of risk there.
Want to hear my theory, Andrew, on why these exchanges created their own coins?
Why?
Because they want to be able to lend out money.
Hmm.
So they've created these coins that they can control the supply. They can inject more, they can contract it. So it gives them lending power, That's my opinion of it.
So it sounds like the BNB card, the Binance card, and the Crypto.com card are very, very similar. There's a couple other ones that are available in Canada. One's called ShakePay, and the other one's called Mogo. Now, ShakePay, there was a wait list for a long time. I think you were on the wait list.
Yeah, I still am. I think they've actually ended the wait list, but I don't know why I haven't received it yet.
I think this one's a little bit more simple. It's still a Visa debit card. You load Canadian dollars on it, and you just make purchases, and then you get Bitcoin as a 1% reward. So it's pretty simple. There's no staking or anything like that. It's essentially just a prepaid card with a 1% return, payable in Bitcoin, and you can just exchange it to Canadian dollars, or I think Ethereum as well.
I think
So
that's great.
yeah, so it's a very simple card. The other one's called Mogo, Mogo, and I actually have this card, but they no longer have, I think, a reward system. So when I first got it a couple years ago, they didn't even have crypto on their platform. It was an app. They had a variety of different services, so you can check your credit score, you can get loans, mortgages, and they had a prepaid Visa card. Actually, it might be no, it is a prepaid Visa card, I believe. So I was thinking it might be Mastercard, but I think they had a 2% return or something like that, just regular Canadian dollars back, cash back. And then they switched it to, I think they got rid of the reward completely for a while. Then they came back and it might have been 1% in Bitcoin. Now, the issue is with the Mogul platform on Bitcoin, you can't send it to another wallet. So it's completely trapped in the system. All you can do is sell it for Canadian. So it'll go up and down with market prices, but then all you can do is sell it for Canadian. So it's kind of trapped in there. And that's still the case. Now, I think they've removed the reward system completely, but I find that every once in a while, for whatever reason, they give you random quantities of Satoshis, which are a very small fraction of the Bitcoin. And you can still buy and sell Bitcoin on the platform, but that's it. So I wouldn't recommend the mobile card, especially because even if the rewards seem okay now, which I don't see any reward at all, they do flip flop quite a bit. So it seems like if you want something that's really simple, and we've had nothing but good experiences with ShakePay for the most part. So I think the ShakePay card would probably be the way to go. If you can get it.
I would specifically on ShakePay, I would say onboarding is a disaster.
Oh yeah,
But
it did take us a while. But
months.
no, but that's from a business, because we're doing it for a corporation.
It
If
doesn't
you're doing it
matter.
for
Onboarding is a disaster for businesses. But yeah, for personal, it should be fine.
because for my personal, I think it was just a day or so. But yeah, if you're doing it for a business, then it could take a while. We should look into getting the card for a business.
We should, yeah.
Yeah. So is there currently any advantage with the crypto.com card? Would you get it?
No, because of all the shady shit they pulled recently with crypto.com. Nah, I'm not, because what's to prevent them from changing the terms again, Andrew? What's to say, hey, you need to keep a minimum balance now in order to use your Visa card or do some more shenanigans? Because once these companies start doing this, it just gets worse and worse. I think we know from history.
Well, what's the risk, right? There's no annual fee. There may be an inactivity fee if you don't, but you can just cancel.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Why would I get a product I know is going to get worse over time?
Yeah. So I guess what we can conclude for crypto.com at least is that the rewards, even though they may seem good now or acceptable now, it's long term it may not be worthwhile. But then again, there's very little risk because it's not a regular credit card. You don't have to go through a credit check to be approved. It's just a debit card or kind of a prepaid card. So you could always cancel it and take advantage of the benefits now. I don't have the card myself. The one thing that I was thinking about getting the card for was just to get a rebate on Spotify. And I don't know if that Spotify rebate comes back in US dollars or if it comes back in CRO. I imagine it probably comes back in CRO. And then you can just sell it, right? You can sell the CRO for for US dollars or Canadian
But it
dollars.
also depends on what price of CRO they're using, right? So because let's say if it's a year subscription, are they paying the average of the price for the year, or are they paying with that spot price?
It says 13.99 USD equivalent
But what's the
per month.
definition of okay per month? So they're paying you once a
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if but this requires a stake. So this is the Ruby Steel card. So if you were to put a $500, oh, this is yeah. So if you put a $500 Canadian stake, which is probably like $400 US, then I think the stake, from what I recall, you have to keep it in there for 6 months. But then every month, essentially, you're getting, your Spotify fee reimbursed. I imagine, I'm not sure, but they might need to. I'm sure they have maybe an algorithm to just see your transactions that you're actually subscribing for Spotify. But also, it's a note that these um, businesses, Spotify, Netflix, etc., they're not actually affiliated in crypto.com. They're just reimbursing you the amount that it would cost you to get one of these services.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't there a mass movement right now to cancel your Netflix subscription?
I think so. So the Netflix stock price dropped quite a bit, but I don't recall what that was over.
I don't know either. Like all I know is I've seen their stock price tank, subscriptions tanking, and I know I was reading about people canceling their memberships.
I think it might have been Adam Carolla or something. They might have been they'd like to talk about the news. I think one of the reasons was just a lot of competition. I'm sure Amazon Prime is probably getting better every month,
Disney
and
Plus is getting better.
yeah, Disney Plus, and then you have a lot of streaming services that are specific to like one genre. There's one for horror, there's ones for documentaries. So maybe if that's all you care about, because you know 90% of stuff on Netflix I don't watch. I'm a
Yeah,
big sci-fi fan. So if there's a streaming service just for sci-fi, maybe I'd rather subscribe to that than Netflix.
and it's right. Like for me, if I could get sci-fi and fantasy, I don't need anything else. It's same thing.
Yeah. And then there's CNN tried their own streaming platform called CNN Plus, which is supposed to be I think you're gonna pay $3 or $6 a month or something like that for all CNN content. And I think their initial analysis or their prediction was that they'd have like 20 plus million subscribers, and I think in reality they got like 13,000.
Oh
So they
my
had to,
God.
so they had to close that down. I think people would pay twice that if Joe Rogan had some sort of Patreon type situation where it was like exclusive content for free. I think that would outsell CNN Plus by like 1,000-fold.
This is my opinion, Andrew, but why the heck would I subscribe to news? It's stressful enough watching the news on its own, but subscribing and paying them to do it, I don't know if I could do that.
Well, CNN, it's partially news and it's partially like an op-ed.
hmm But in general,
So
right? Like paying the mainstream media, money to watch them. I don't want to, I don't even like watching news to begin with.
do you find that sometimes you're reading articles on your phone and after you scroll down like 25%, it says, especially I think it's like maybe like Washington Post or New York Times, it's like you've reached your 5th free article for the month because they have a cookie in your browser probably,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
they try to get you to subscribe to read more. I usually just look up the headline and then just find the same story elsewhere for free.
It's stupid, right? You're
Yeah.
competing because these platforms don't realize like you're not going to get people to pay for subscriptions to news. You're going to still find out the info you need because someone's going to offer it for free. The only way you can prosper as a news media right now is through sponsorships, ads, and that's basically it. Like other sources of revenue, you really don't have, and trying to lock it behind a paywall, especially I don't know. I find news instills a lot of fear into people, right? Irrationally, all the time. So subscribing just to become fearful of something, I don't know. I can't do it anymore, right? Like I don't even when I look at news, it has to be like fact-based what's going on. Everything else I just totally ignore because it's irrelevant to me at this point. Because reading about stuff, oh, like we're going into a recession, rate hikes, the Great Depression 2.0, 1980s all over again. it gets stressful, right? And it stresses you out. So I just don't read it. I just look at the facts, make my own opinions, and just live my life.
So going on a little off topic there, but in terms of fear, yes, there's a. I think you said there was a little bit of fear in the real estate market. Prices are dropping a little bit because of the interest rates, and perhaps some fear in the mining market, in the mining industry as well, because as we've noticed, a lot more graphic cards are available these days at close to MSRP.
I would say MSRP. What is even MSRP anywhere? No one really knows.
Yeah, but part of the reason why it's available, I would suspect, is because people are worried of proof of stake because we're inching ever so closer to proof of stake for Ethereum. So, do you think that has anything to do with the newfound availability of cards?
Partially, but you also have to understand most people who mine in this space have only been doing it recently, right? So they're used to ROIs of like 3 months, 6 months, 8 months. But a typical ROI is 2 years, right? It's been that way before this boom. So we're just reverting back to the mean, and people are freaking out, selling their equipment, right? But if anything, now's the time when you should buy the most equipment if you can, right? When prices drop, when people are panic selling, this is a time to be greedy, not fearful, in my personal opinion.
Oh yeah, we're doubling down, tripling down. We're trying to secure a loan to get hopefully like 100 new graphics cards, and we're also trying to save up for another down payment to get some more property. So
This is
we're
the time to
not
be greedy. When people are fearful, Andrew, this is the time to be greedy.
yeah, we're not deterred one bit.
Because we all know, Andrew, there's two factors in life. There will be more inflation and more inflation. That's it. So so that's what I think. And even if Ethereum does go proof of stake, there will be something else to mine. It might not be as profitable, but who cares? Our good friend was mining Ethereum when it was barely break even for how many years, and look at him now. You have to zoom out, look at the next 5 years. Don't worry about what's going to happen in a year from now or next month. That's irrelevant.
Right. So I'm waiting to hear back. Hopefully this week. If not, I'll follow up next week with a banker that I was speaking with. So he's checking to see if the bank is willing to give out credit for crypto mining businesses because they do look at the risk of the specific industry, not just the cash flow and the finances. So we'll see.
Well, if they gave it
He
to us
doesn't
on
know.
cash flow, we should get the loan. There should be no
We should,
issue.
yeah, but for sure they're going to look at the industry because you know just like during COVID, I imagine they weren't lending out too much money for people opening up restaurants either.
Oh man, our margins are ridiculous compared to restaurants. It should be a no-brainer to lend us money, but banks be banks. I'll just say that.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. What else? Uh, I actually was seriously thinking about getting one of these crypto.com cards when the price dropped because I was looking at getting one when CRO was 14 cents and then it went as high as like 60 cents or something like that. And so, a $500 stake would have been pretty good, but I guess it's irrelevant because you got to keep it in there for 6 months. So you're not going to get it back. And by the time you get it back, it may have dropped down to the same or below what you got it for. But what's cool about them is that the cards are made out of metal. And I swear, I'm not like advertising for crypto.com. I don't have a card.
He's
I
a
just thought it
crypto.
was,
You're a shill for crypto.com. Come
yeah.
on now.
Oh, I'm saying the only other metal cards you can get are I think some Amexes and I think Amazon's Visa might be metal, or at least one of the versions used to be.
I have an RBC card that's metal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forget
Was
which
it the
one.
American one?
Yeah, I think it is.
Interesting. Okay, that might be a new thing. I think everyone's gonna do that just to make their card
Oh
seem
no, this
premium.
is a premium Visa card. My first fancy card.
Mm. I think first it was all very few cards were black, and now a lot of the cards are black. Even like the no fee ones you get from like a grocery store, they'll just make them black to make them seem more premium than they are.
Oh yeah, but Andrew, when I see you next time, I'll show you this card. It has a premium feel to it.
Nice. There's a card that I think they discontinued. I would have loved to have gotten. I think it was with Chase Bank, and it was called the Palladium card, and it
Was it
had
made out of palladium?
yeah. So I think it had like a
Nice.
quarter ounce of palladium in there, and I think at the time it's like if you sold a card, if you just sold the metal in the card, you would have got a couple $1,000s.
Oh man, that card's a good target to steal. To
It's gone
meltdown.
now. So I think they gave you the two versions, like two cards. One was the platinum version, one was a like plastic or cheaper metal. But I think they both worked. I would have just kept the cheap one, melted the other one, and then just sold the metal. Yeah, it's no longer around as far as I know.
It's too expensive to manufacture, I imagine, especially nowadays.
Yeah. I was watching Peter Schiff back when he was on Joe Rogan. This was a couple years ago, and he had a solid gold card from I think his own company, like Schiff Gold or something like that.
Maybe we should reach out to Peter Schiff. I'd love to get like a crypto card made out of solid gold, for Bitcoin. I think that'd be perfect.
He would never approve of such a thing. He hates crypto.
We need to convert him. I feel like I think one day he's gonna snap. When Bitcoin crosses 100K mark, I think he'll snap.
I think maybe $1,000,000. We'll see.
We'll see. There is a breaking point. Do we agree?
Yeah. But we're nowhere close to that. We still have years of podcasting before we can even reach out to the guy.
We'll get there. We'll grind it out one podcast episode at a time. And I enjoy doing this. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's sometimes obviously our day jobs and everything kind of get in the way sometimes, but it'd be nice a few years down the line if we can just do this full time.
Yeah. We need to up the production quality though. Like we need to figure out some strategies to do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna probably get a better camera. Our microphones are okay, I think. We both have like professional microphones or semi-professional microphones.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe we'll get find better rooms to operate out of, so we don't have to blur the background.
Yeah, getting our own studio eventually would be nice. Maybe we can convert one of our properties into a studio room.
I think eventually.
Yeah.
What else? Don't know if we have anything else for you this week. Something from Metaverse News. I thought this was interesting. So researchers at, I forgot which university, they took an Oculus Quest 2 and then they added a device that they had built, which sends ultrasound energy towards your lower part of your face, so towards your mouth and into your mouth, so that it could simulate the feel of a kiss, so that if two people were wearing this, they could kiss in the metaverse and you could feel it. Now, how realistic it is, how lifelike is the feeling, I don't know, but it's the first step towards like full immersion. So if anybody's ever watched Star Trek, they have the holodeck, which is just this virtual environment you go into using light and something similar to what they created here, which ultrasound energy, so you can feel what you see. And I think we're inching towards that with every iteration of VR headsets and haptic. I think it's haptic technology.
Awesome. That's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder who will survive in the metaverse, because right now we're seeing, a bunch of different companies competing, and the next few years, I wonder who are going to be the top dogs. I have a couple ideas, but it's going to be interesting to see.
So it looks like many companies are creating their own metaverse, like their own world, and whoever makes the headset will likely have a platform to link you between the worlds. So it'll be a lobby, and then you have the individual worlds. So I think the lobby in the case of Facebook might be like Horizon Worlds, and then you'll just go through portals, and you'll be able to go into the not Dogecoin. What is it? The Shiba verse, and then you'll be able to go into the Central Land, etc. And you'll be able to just kind of go around, and you can almost think of Horizon Worlds as like a search engine or a homepage, and then you go to these individual ones. But based on popularity, some of these other ones are going to shut down, whether or not they can adapt. Because I think from what I saw, Shiba Inuverse is more realistic, like it has better graphics, I guess, than the Central Land. But then some people like the cartooniness of the Central Land. So as long as it's done correctly. But I haven't been in crypto voxels for a while, but it was pretty bad. It was like black and white and like heavily pixelated. It looked like, did you ever play like browser-based games in the early 2000s, like whether it be spaceship games or like tank games, and it was just like heavily pixelated tanks or spaceships.
I've played those before, but
Mm,
not too much.
I don't from crypto boxes. I couldn't tell if it was like a style choice or just like a limitation of just the platform they created.
It's tough to say. I don't really know, but all I can say is I can't wait till the day that we wake up, go inside our hamster wheels, or what's that one Bruce Willis movie where he like has,
Surrogates.
yeah, surrogates. That'll be interesting. I think that's the end goal of the metaverse.
But in that movie, they weren't existing in a virtual world. They were controlling almost like puppets, like robotic puppets that were going out to do real world activities like work and such.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get there yet, but I think the virtual world will probably exist for stuff like this.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of companies definitely working towards it, both on the software side and the hardware side. So I have a Quest 2, which I don't really use that much. I bought it thinking that I was going to use it to work out. I had all these boxing games and like sport games like
How that worked
tennis or
out for
whatever.
you?
Well, I don't have a lot of space where I am right now, so I'd have to go outside to. I'd have to go outside with my Quest headset to play a tennis game outside in VR,
And
which
someone's
makes
just
no.
gonna push you into the pool, right?
They're gonna push me into traffic.
Yeah.
But if I have to go outside to use this headset, I might as well just go for a jog at that point.
Or actually play tennis.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it does get your heart rate up for sure because I was wearing like a Fitbit and like the boxing games and all that. They are pretty intense. Like they are pretty tiring. So, in theory, it works. I think if you had a partner, someone else to kind of do it at the same time, like you and I could box against each other in some games, I believe.
But we might as well box in real life then.
Oh well, I mean, we don't live in the same city, so just
Yeah.
in those circumstances, or
Yeah.
you and I can play tennis against each other as well,
Oh,
and all kinds of sports.
that'd be
So,
interesting.
I think once the headsets become lighter weight, have better batteries, like you wear glasses, right?
Mhm.
If you can change your glasses into with a button to turn them into a VR headset, and it's the same lightweight feel and all that, I think that's when people will be utilizing it heavily.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but not to say 5 to 10 years, it could easily change. Look at what's
Yeah,
happened to smartphones in like 5 to 10 years, right? 10 years ago, who was using a smartphone? Barely anyone.
I was, but yeah. Uh,
10 years
I
ago
had
in
the
2012.
I had a smartphone in 2000, maybe four. When did the Nokia N-Gage come out?
Oh man, this is 2000s.
Nokia N-Gage. It came out October 2003. I had the first N-Gage.
Oh, but is that really a smartphone?
Yeah, it had apps. Yeah, like smartest phone you can have at the time. It had Nintendo 64 quality games on it.
Oh wow.
Back when all other phones, the best they had was, remember Snake?
Yeah, yeah,
Right, where your phone had only, you could count the pixels on your phone.
yeah.
This had Nintendo 64 first person shooter games.
Oh wow.
So it's definitely ahead of its time. And then people were building apps, like early apps for it. Um, Someone had built an app where it would take your phone's GPS, but it wasn't true GPS. It's just based off of the proximity to a GSM tower, and then it would trigger different actions on your phone, such as triggering an alarm or whatever. So I guess the idea is like, let's just say you fell asleep on a bus. Anytime, by the time you got to work or school, the alarm would go off and that kind of thing. So like very, very early iterations of apps.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man, how far technology has come along, Andrew. CDs, DVDs, no one uses anymore, right? I
Yeah.
haven't used a CD or DVD or Blu-ray in I don't know how many years now.
I saw an article that researchers have in Japan have made a disc that is made out of diamond and has the equivalent of something like it can hold the same data as 1,000 Blu-ray discs or something like that.
What's the point
Um,
anymore?
well, I think it could be used. I think they're just using it as a comparison, but I think it could be used in hard drive technology.
That is true. If it can be used in hard drives, if it can be rewritten. If
Yeah.
it can't be, then but yeah. I just think I honestly very curious to see where we'll be at in 5 to 10 years in crypto. Will we be Will Bitcoin still be relevant? I don't know, probably, but no one really knows, right?
I think Ethereum will not be, and I hope it won't be. I'm not a big fan of Ethereum, despite the fact that it's our bread and butter.
You know what? I'm not sure if it'll be relevant either, especially with Solana being adopted for NFTs. Ethereum's gonna be in a tight place. That's all I can say. They're gonna have they have too many groups to please, right? Too many interest groups at the moment. There's the NFT people. There's the day traders, like people who trade the coin. There's people who want to stake. There's the miners. So there's a lot of political groups that have formed in Ethereum. They're all very vocalized in opinions. What I'm seeing right now is Ethereum is basically saying screw you to the miners and screw you to the people who are buying and selling NFTs because they have ridiculous gas fees still. So who are they really pleasing? I would say the two main groups are being right now kicked out of Ethereum. So I don't know what's going to be the end result of it. Because they're already moved on to Solana. That's why Matic exists, because Ethereum failed. Like that, to be honest, that's the whole reason why Matic is relevant, is because Ethereum failed the NFT market significantly. There's no other reason
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, so we'll see, because whatever happens will likely heavily affect our business, but
We'll
unfortunately
pivot. We'll survive.
Yeah. So we're actually having a big move this upcoming weekend. We're moving, well, not that big, I think. Maybe we're moving 30 graphics cards between two cities, so quite a bit of labor involved. Hopefully the last move ever.
I don't think so, but hopefully for a
Well,
while.
yeah, so I guess we're still moving it to somewhere somewhat residential. So eventually we'll probably move it to an actual warehouse. So but that won't be anytime soon.
Those floors are going to be hot to walk on.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, I think that's it for news of interest.
Yeah, absolutely. So this concludes this episode of the podcast. If you guys have any topic suggestions, comments, likes, let us know. Feel free to reach out to us. Stay tuned for the next one.